Welcome to World News Update. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Imagine buying a toy car made overseas. When it enters the US, a tariff, a special tax, makes it more expensive. This isn't just about toys. President Trump's threat of a 100% tariff on all Chinese goods could double prices on everything from phones to furniture. The US and China trade billions in goods daily. Disrupting this flow could shake global markets and threaten jobs. On October 17, President Trump hinted he might impose tariffs even sooner than planned, ramping up pressure on China. For families, this isn't just politics. It could mean higher prices and fewer products, especially during the holidays. The core issue: the US claims China has long exploited global trade rules, hurting American workers. Tariffs are seen by the administration as a way to force change and level the playing field. But many economists warn these tariffs could backfire, raising prices for Americans and risking job losses. The debate: are tariffs a tool for fairness or a tax on American consumers? This standoff is more than a headline. It's a battle over the future of global trade. As the world's two largest economies face off, the stakes couldn't be higher. The outcome will affect what you pay at the store and the health of the US economy. The world is watching to see who blinks first. The latest escalation began when China restricted exports of rare earths, vital materials for electronics and defense. Rare earths power everything from smartphones to missile systems, and China controls most of the world's supply. By cutting off these exports, China targeted a critical US vulnerability. This was a direct response to US efforts to block China's access to advanced technology, especially semiconductor chips. The result: a tit-for-tat escalation, with each side targeting the other's strategic industries. The US saw China's move as a threat to national security, not just trade. The rare earth curbs exposed America's reliance on a rival for key resources. President Trump's answer: threatened sweeping tariffs on all Chinese imports. The trade war has now moved beyond economics into the realm of national defense. Both sides are using their most powerful levers, raising the stakes for everyone. The rare earth gambit shows this conflict is about much more than money. It's a battle over who controls the future of technology and security. President Trump frames the tariff threat as a fight for American jobs and national security. He calls China's rare earth curbs a hostile act, demanding a tough response. The administration argues that tariffs are overdue, meant to fix decades of unfair trade and lost manufacturing jobs. The proposed 100% tariff would be a massive escalation, potentially raising some rates to over 150%. The goal: inflict enough economic pain to force China to back down and agree to US demands. It's a high-risk gamble, betting China will blink first. The US is also preparing new export controls and restrictions on technology and airplane parts. This two-pronged strategy aims to maximize pressure and reassert American dominance. The message: the US is willing to fight on multiple fronts to protect its interests. The world is bracing for the fallout. China isn't backing down. Officials call US tariffs double standards and say their own actions are justified responses. Beijing's message: we do not want to fight, but we are not afraid to fight. China warns it will retaliate if the US imposes new tariffs, possibly targeting American agriculture, manufacturing, or even US companies operating in China. They could also disrupt US financial markets by selling treasury bonds. Under President Xi, China is more assertive than ever, signaling it won't be bullied. The era of hiding strength is over. China now sees itself as a co-equal power. This defiance suggests a quick resolution is unlikely. Both sides are digging in for a prolonged fight. The world is watching as tensions rise. President Trump's threat to move up the tariff deadline is classic brinkmanship, pushing the crisis to the edge to force concessions. By creating urgency, he hopes China will blink first and return to the table. Yet, he also hints at openness to talks, keeping China off balance. This mix of threats and negotiation is meant to pressure Beijing, but it's risky. 4 rounds of talks this year have failed to produce a deal. Distrust runs deep, and the issues: trade, tech, security, are complex. The looming APEC summit was seen as a chance for progress, but now even that is uncertain. The accelerated deadline adds new urgency and new risk. Will brinkmanship force a breakthrough, or push both sides into a full-blown trade war? The answer could shape the global economy for years. For Americans, tariffs mean higher prices on electronics, clothes, toys, and more. A 100% tariff would double import costs, and companies would pass much of that to consumers. Small businesses relying on Chinese goods could face chaos, forced to raise prices, lose money or scramble for new suppliers. The timing is brutal. Holiday shopping season is near, and retailers have already stocked up. Tariffs could mean sudden tax bills, product shortages, and higher prices for holiday shoppers. Some stores could close, and layoffs may follow. U.S. manufacturers would also be hit, as many rely on Chinese parts and materials. Higher costs would make American-made goods less competitive at home and abroad. The intended help for U.S. industry could backfire, hurting the very businesses tariffs aim to protect. The ripple effects could slow the entire economy. Tariffs aren't just a tool, they're a shock to the system. The impact will be felt in every aisle and on every paycheck. The stakes for Main Street are real and immediate. Wall Street hates uncertainty, and the tariff threat sent stocks tumbling. The S&P 500 dropped over 2% after Trump's announcement, the worst day in months. Investors fear tariffs will hurt profits, slow growth, and even trigger a recession. Markets have been volatile, swinging with every new headline or tweet. Traders are guessing, will there be a deal or a disaster? Inflation is a big worry. Tariffs act like a tax, pushing up prices and threatening to undo progress made by the Federal Reserve. If inflation spikes, interest rates could rise, making borrowing more expensive and slowing the economy further. The trade war also disrupts business planning. Companies can't invest or hire confidently when the rules keep changing. Supply chains built over decades can be upended overnight. This uncertainty is a drag on growth, investment, and jobs. Wall Street's anxiety reflects a deeper fear. The rules of global trade are being rewritten in real time. The stakes go far beyond the stock market. The US-China trade war is a global problem, rattling allies and trading partners worldwide. Europe and Asia fear supply chain disruptions and a blow to the fragile global recovery. The Trump administration's broader protectionism has already hit dozens of countries with new tariffs. Allies worry the rules-based trading system is being replaced by chaos and power politics. International organizations warn that escalating tariffs will shrink global GDP, raise unemployment, and fuel instability. They urge a return to negotiation and established rules. The conflict is forcing countries to choose sides or walk a diplomatic tightrope. The world is splitting into rival economic blocs, one led by Washington, the other by Beijing. Global leaders fear this division will make the world less cooperative and more dangerous. The stakes are not just economic, they're geopolitical. As of October 18th, the US-China standoff could go several ways. Best case, China concedes, rolls back rare earth curbs, and a new deal is struck. Markets would celebrate. More likely, neither side backs down. The US imposes tariffs, China retaliates, and a full-scale trade war erupts. Consumers face higher prices, businesses scramble, and the economy risks recession. Or, the conflict drags on, tariffs imposed but no breakthrough, leaving everyone in limbo. Uncertainty would hang over businesses and consumers for months or years, stalling investment and growth. This is more than a trade dispute, it's a defining moment between a rising power and an established one. The outcome will shape global trade, technology, and power for decades. For Americans, the stakes are immediate: prices, jobs, and economic security. Whether China blinks or both sides dig in, the world is waiting for the next move. The future of global trade hangs in the balance.